Hi everyone, for some of you that may not remember me, my name is Brooke Briggs. The topic that I chose to speak on today would be public schools versus homeschools. Now, there's a couple differences thrown up in the air about, oh, homeschool kids, they're not, ready for the real life. They're not, going to fit in society perfectly because they're not exposed to as much as public school students are. And public school students, they're exposed to everything in different situations, real life events. But I mean, is that true? Speaking from like stats and percentages, homeschool they actually have a lot higher scores when it comes to reading, language, math, science, social studies, and all of them combined, their test scores are a lot higher. Now we may take into account, well, all right, is that because it's more one-on-one work, or is it because the environment's different? I mean, they're not sitting in a classroom with another 34 students. Public schools, they don't get much one-on-one work. I mean, homeschool, you're sitting there with your parent or whoever you're with, and it's basically one-on-one. Direct attention's to you. You don't have to worry about distractions from other students. I mean, the environment's different. Now, homeschool, like I said, their grades are a lot higher than public schools, but then again, some public school students, their grades are extremely high. They do extremely well, but it all can come down to the type of environment that we're in. I mean, the environment that people are in, that is what it shapes a person about the environment, the social environment, but it has a lot to do with the way people react. Um, and then some people wonder, okay, well, since homeschool people, they're not really able to be out in the world. They're not really able to communicate with people as much as a public school child would. So like, are they socially awkward? Are they gonna be able to do real world, real life things? Are they gonna be able to, you know, not be awkward? Well, I mean, studies say that they're no different than public school kids, but and then some may, be against that because, like I said before, public school kids they're exposed to so much more. I mean, they're able to talk to people on a daily basis. I mean, they have one teacher, or sorry, not one teacher. They have several different teachers, several different learning styles, and they gotta learn to figure things out on their own. They gotta learn to venture out. They gotta learn to take a chance. Now, homeschool, it's like you have one person that you're learning from. You you're not gonna get in a fight with another kid sitting next to you. You're just not exposed. Like I said, I think exposure is very important. And I mean, a couple things I was reading on the internet, they did say that exposure to real life things, real life events, situations, it's important. Now, some reasons that parents choose to homeschool their kids is because they would rather have a more of a customized learning environment. They may want to focus in on certain aspects of things, certain studies, certain religious based type of things. I mean, they want to have their child to be able to be successful and accomplish more academically rather than trying to figure out how to do things in a public school. That was some of the things I've read, and I've also seen a couple of personal experiences on why parents rather have their child homeschooled versus public schooling. Now, physically, like I mean, making somebody learn something specifically, it's not. They have to have the whole thing. I mean, another reason was because they want to enhance their family relationships. School shouldn't be about enhancing family relationships. School should be about learning things, learning how to be successful, doing great in your grade school, your middle school, your high school, getting ready to go to college because there's no homeschooling when it comes to college. I mean, granted, yes, there is a couple online classes, but eventually you're going to have to go to campus. So you can't say that homeschooling is going to be, just being homeschooled, you're not going to be well prepared versus being in a public school sitting in a classroom. Because you have, 35 students in an average high school classroom versus one of you in a homeschool. Now you go off to a college, you can have 34 up to 200 kids in a classroom. Now, that can be difficult because they don't know how to, you know, deal with it. I mean, it's an environment. So if you're like used to an environment being quiet and just you and one-on-one work, when you get in college, it's not like that. You gotta learn to step out and do things for yourself. You gotta learn to go get help. I mean, it's completely different. And homeschoolers, the parents want a safer environment. In the real world, I'm sorry, but there's no safe environment. I mean, you're facing dangers every single day of your life. And if you want to try to have a safe environment, okay, but you're sheltering your child. You gotta let them get out there. You gotta let them experience the violence and the fights. You know, not for them to get hurt, but in schools, I mean, there's fights. You have to let them experience that so they know how to handle it in case they're in a situation where something happens. You gotta let them experience, you know, say no to peer pressure, you know, no to drugs, no to drinking, no to anything that's illegal. I mean, so if they're not exposed to that type of peer pressure, like public school kids are, what happens if they get put in that situation? They're not gonna know how to react. I mean, a lot of people have learned to say no, and you know they don't give in. But if you're not even used to being put in that type of situation with a group of people at a party or something, or just in a classroom, it makes things harder. And then they miss out on the real life. They miss out on the whole high school experience. I mean, high school is supposed to be the best years of your life. You know, your best 4 years. You have your homecoming, you have your prom, you have your little school dances, you have your class personalities, you have your football games, your basketball games, your softball games, your baseball, soccer with all of your friends, and you're supposed to have amazing memories and just an amazing time, you know, memories to look back on. But if you're homeschooled, you're hidden away from that. You don't get to participate in things like that. I mean, you have pep rallies. Pep rallies are huge in high school. I mean, they're taken away from you. You don't get that stuff when you're homeschooled. I mean, you don't even, I mean, like, yes, granted, people may have friends, but it's like, say some of their friends were in a public school versus a homeschool, you're cutting out. So, to sum it all up, I mean, percentage-wise, yes, they say homeschool is a lot better when it comes to grades and, you know, achieving more. But then you also have to look in the environments. I mean, public schools, there's more distractions. I mean, it's less one-on-one work. Homeschool, you have, everything is going to be one-on-one. It's going to be focused on you. Now, public schools, you're getting ready for the real life. I mean, the real world. I mean, you already have faced a couple of things. You've been exposed to a lot of different situations. And then when you come to homeschooled, you're sheltered. So, I mean, yes and no for homeschool. Public school, students still are successful. Students still achieve goals. They're still, you know, they're making something of themselves, as well as homeschool students, but public school, it just sets you up more. So, other than that, thanks for watching my video.